This morning, we are shining a spotlight on well-known criminal defense attorney Jose Baez. He's no stranger to high-profile cases. In fact, he perhaps represented the most recognized, or was most recognized for a successful defense of the woman once known as the most hated mother in America, Casey Anthony.
When everything is said and done, the one question will never be answered. The key question in this case will never be answered. It can never be proven. And that is, how did Kaylee die? They're hoping they throw enough against the wall and see what sticks. That's what they're doing here. Let's throw it all against the wall and see what sticks. I'm not proud of the way Casey behaved. I don't think anybody here can justify her actions, but they do not constitute murder.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
And now Baez is set to once again defend a perhaps hated woman in Florida, as he has been hired to represent Shanna Gardner, the woman facing the potential of the death penalty after the state has accused her of being the mastermind in the murder-for-hire plot that killed her ex-husband, Microsoft executive Jared Bridegan. So will Baez be successful yet again in Florida? It is our honor to bring in, to break it all down, someone who has seen Baez in action. The judge who presided over Casey Anthony's trial, Judge Belvin Perry Jr. Judge Perry, it is so great to have you on and to see you. You have many official titles, but I feel like an unofficial one that is so appropriate is during that trial, the way that you handled it, you got the title of America's Judge. So it's our honor to have you on. Can you talk about what stood out to you in seeing Jose Baez defending Casey Anthony all those years ago?
Number one, Mr. Baez knew how to relate to a jury. Number two, Mr. Baez studied his case. He knew the facts backwards and forward. And the major thing that I admired about Mr. Baez, he was able to make what I call those mid-trial adjustments to make his case relevant to the jury so that they will buy his point of view. So Mr. Baez is the master of preparation.
Preparation is so key in these cases, and jurors pick up on how prepared an attorney is, and it's always an accolade for an attorney to hear a judge say that they seem prepared. Can you talk about any adjustments that you saw that you think may be relevant in this case that he is defending now? Do you think jurors, as far as in Florida, are going to remember him from the Casey Anthony trial?
I think there will be some jurors that will remember him, but the unique ability that Mr. Baez has, he knows how to relate to those 12 individuals that will be sitting in that jury box, and he will fashion his case to fit those particular individuals. Most lawyers don't do that. They go in with a plan, and they don't care whether or not the jury is a size 7 or a size 12. They're going to try to slam it down their throats. But Mr. Baez will tell his case. He can't tell it a fact, but he will tell his case to appear and appeal to that jury.
And no doubt there will be some comments about it during a jury selection process, perhaps. They may ask if they recognize him. There may be some jurors who raise their hand. We don't know. I'm always struck at how comfortable he seems, not only in front of the courtroom, in front of a judge, but also in front of the cameras. And our cameras caught up with him at the hearing that happened last week. Let's play a bit of a clip from that, Judge.
Miss Gardner has not had a lot of positive publicity, and there have been many statements made about her without her having the opportunity to really respond. And I'm sorry, when you have the police, as well as numerous federal agencies, and one of the largest investigations in Duval County ever against you, it's probably best you're not out there on a soapbox speaking to the media and responding to every little theory that any blogger decides to come up with.
So he's facing off against bad publicity now, he says, and he definitely had to deal with that back in 2011. Judge Perry, can you talk about how you would characterize the high-profile nature of the Anthony trial, the challenges that perhaps it presented not only to these attorneys, but you on the bench having to corral everyone during this?
You know, the major problem with cases with a great deal of pre-trial publicity is that a lot of the facts are out there before the jury. And some of those facts are true, and some of those facts are false. And during the jury selection process, you have to go through that to let those potential jurors understand that the facts will come in during the trial, not what you glean from the news media, from what you read, but you got to get them of the mindset that everything that they listened to, heard, may not actually come into evidence. And that's a big task.
Judge, do you think it will change anything if this case goes forward with both of these defendants not severed but tried together, so you'll have two different legal teams essentially inside of the courtroom? Do you think Jose Baez will continue to shine in that situation, or will that pose anything of a challenge for him with his client there along with her husband?
I think if they are tried together, that Mr. Baez will more than likely point the finger at the husband and talk about what evidence there is against her. I mean, you have a murder for hire situation in this particular case. The big question is, what direct evidence that they have against Mr. Baez's client that makes her a part of this conspiracy to commit murder?
Well, he's certainly no stranger to pointing the finger. And we have a clip from the cross-examination of George Anthony, Casey Anthony's father. Of course, George Anthony was not on trial, but here's how Baez handled that cross-examination.
You know, of course, that sex with a child under the age of 12 years old is life in prison, don't you, sir?
Relevance.
Sustained.
You're aware of the possible penalties of child molesting, don't you, sir?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustained.
You, of course, would never admit to molesting your child, would you, sir?
Objection. Argumentative.
Overruled. He can answer the question if he can.
Sir, I never would do anything like that to my daughter.
My question is, you would never admit to it, would you, sir?
Sir, I would never do anything to harm my daughter in that way.
Only in that way.
Objection.
Sir.
Argumentative. Move.
Sustained.
Right.
I think I hear your voice just a bit in there, Judge Perry. Can you talk about what that moment was like, seeing just the twists and turns of this case that so many across America were watching, and some not so happy with the outcome?
Well, what Mr. Baez skillfully did was he put George Anthony on trial by making allegations that Mr. Anthony sexually abused Casey Anthony on one of the many theories that the defense laid out at that particular time, to give credence to the fact that if he molested his daughter, then more than likely George Anthony disposed of the body. So that's exactly what he did. He did an indirect job of prosecuting George Anthony at that moment.
So put on his prosecutor hat for a second there inside the courtroom. Did he come across as more likable than Casey? There are some attorneys who can really endear themselves with this jury, and even if the jury doesn't like the client, they will like the attorney. Do you feel that that was the situation with Jose Baez?
You're absolutely correct. He fashioned his style, the way that he behaved in the courtroom to appeal to those jurors. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes jurors feel affinity for aggressive lawyers. Sometimes they feel affinity for mild-mannered lawyers or aggression at certain periods of time. But Jose Baez has this unique ability to read the 12 people in that box and use a way of communication that fits with those 12 individuals.
And that's something we will be leaning in to listen as if this goes to trial, as those attorneys are presenting those openings and closings in front of the jury. And Judge, I want to ask you one more question that has to do with Judge London Kite, who is going to be presiding over this case. She's already been handling it in just such a very careful manner. There's been an issue about whether or not attorney-client privileged information was given to prosecutors. And she has said she'll bring in an independent judge to look at that information just so she's not tainted at all by it, to make a determination on it. Any words of advice you would give her in being over a high-profile case there in Florida, which you are the expert at it at this point?
The only suggestion I would make to her, and I understand she's a very fine judge, is don't get caught up in the hype, and don't read news accounts or watch news accounts of the case. Just take this case and handle this case just like you handle cases day in and day out, knowing that you are the neutral, unbiased magistrate that's just presiding over the case, and you want to make sure that everyone follows the rules and follow the law.
Wise words indeed. Judge Belvin Perry Jr., thank you so much for being on with us. We can't thank you enough for sharing that insight.
Thank you.